referring back to your comments about the media and the great public relations ploy and
right. But see, I think all that stuff is totally illegitimate. I mean, and that goes way back to something much earlier. Why should corporations have any rights at all? Okay. I mean, that's not like it's not in the Constitution. You know, corporate rights are the result. It's not even by legislation. I mean, corporate rights were achieved mostly through courts and lawyers, and pretty recently. You know, the main decisions are early in this century. Like, it's not founded, you know, it's not graven in stone or anything like that. Actually, there's pretty good literature on this if you're interested. The best book is by a Harvard professor that I know, a guy named Morton Horowitz, who's at the law school, has a couple of books called Transformation of American Law. One of them, I think, goes up till like 1860, and the other from maybe 1860 to 1960. But the main theme of the book, of these two big volumes, it's interesting reading. You know, it sounds kind of dense and so on, but you find it interesting reading. The main theme is how the legal system was reshaped to accommodate to the needs of private power. Okay, all the way through, that's been the main theme of the legal system: how to modify it so that illegitimate tyrannical authority is given more and more power, undermining democratic principles. That's basically, he doesn't say it in those words, but that's what it comes down to. And the big step, you know, the major step probably, was the transfer of rights to private tyrannies, which is what corporations are, early in this century. And as he points out, he doesn't go into it much, but I think he's right, this developed out of ideas, kind of Hegelian ideas about the rights of organic entities over individuals, which are also at the roots of Bolshevism and fascism. And I should mention that that comparison may sound exotic now, but it wasn't along, 60 years ago. You read, say, mainstream American political economists like Robert Brady, important political economist, it's kind of Veblenite, back around the early 1940s, I guess. He wrote books about, big business's system of power, things like that, in which he points out, these things are basically totalitarian in structure, which they are. So where'd they get their rights? Well, through courts and lawyers, by playing one state against one another. Incidentally, that's something worth thinking about when you listen to this devolution business now. The point of getting power down to the states is so that any business, even a middle-sized business, can make sure that the money goes into their pockets, not in the pockets of poor people. It's trickier to do it at the federal level. So that's why you get all this new philosophy about, federalism and so on. Not that federalism would be bad, but, not when you got private tyrannies around. This establishment of private corporate power is a dramatic example of that. Back, I forget exactly what year, but like early in this century, maybe around 1905 or something, the state of New Jersey figured it could make a killing by getting the big corporations to move from New York, where they always were, over to New Jersey, simply by giving them a lot of gifts. It's kind of like when Alabama gets investment from Germany. The taxpayers pay for it, but somebody makes a killing. And that's exactly what they did. So New Jersey gave corporations all sorts of gifts, essentially, to move across the river. And that's why you have so many things called, Standard Oil of New Jersey and that sort of thing. Yeah, because they moved across the river so they could be incorporated there. And it's a lot cheaper for the big power because the taxpayers of New Jersey paid them. Delaware was another case. Well, of course, New York had to accommodate, because everybody's moving across the river. That's the new federalism back at the early part of this century. So that's and by such a mechanism, public funds did end up in big, deep private pockets, and corporations gradually got rights that they, that are, in my opinion, totally illegitimate. Those rights can be taken away very simply, without a revolution. In fact, every corporation has a state charter, and they're supposed to be there for some public good, Well, like it was true maybe 200 years ago. Like 200 years ago, we could establish a corporation that would build a bridge across the Charles River or something. Okay, that's what a corporation was supposed to be. It's changed a bit over the years. By now they are huge tyrannies, I mean bigger than states, involved in all kind of strategic interactions with one another in violation of any conceivable market principle and so on and so forth. There's no reason why they should exist, I don't think. And the media is just part of it.